a new baby, or a growing toddler. Congratulations! If you're like most parents, the joy of parenthood is unmatched by anything else in the world. But if you are also like most parents, you are dealing with the #1 concern facing anyone with a baby or a young child.
Here's your silky, sweetheart. I love you. Here we go. Here's your silky.
You put your child into his crib, and he begins to cry. Naturally, your heart is breaking. You are a loving, caring parent who just wants what's best for your child. And yet, your child's poor sleep is wreaking havoc on your whole family.
Night, night, baby girl.
You are so tired you can't think straight or function, and no matter what you do to help your child sleep, he's still struggling. If what you have tried so far hasn't worked, please don't be hard on yourself. You are not alone, and we are here to help.
Hi, I'm Jill Spivak.
And I'm Jennifer Waldberger. We are co-founders of Sleepy Planet, a company we formed to help parents with that ultimate struggle, how to help your child get a good night's sleep. As a family therapist and parent educator, I have met lots of moms, dads, and children over the years. Raising children is an incredibly rewarding and challenging task, and when a child isn't sleeping, the challenges can feel overwhelming. At Sleepy Planet, we realized that too many families were walking around like zombies, exhausted and struggling. No one should have to live this way.
I've been a family therapist for years. So when I had my first baby, I figured I'd have no problem getting him to sleep. What I didn't realize was how hard it would feel when he cried. But as I guided him through learning how to sleep well, I was surprised by how quickly he learned. Once he was a better sleeper, my baby was happier and more alert, and being rested ourselves, my husband and I felt like we could be much better parents.
If you're like most parents, you feel stuck between a rock and a hard place. Your whole family is sleep deprived, so you know you can't continue doing what you've been doing at night. And yet, even thinking about making changes and watching your child struggle as he learns can be really hard. To begin taking steps forward, you need to be confident that what you're doing is the right thing for your child.
It's only natural that you want to help your child. But what doesn't come so naturally is how you do that.
That's where we come in. We're going to help you make sure that your child learns quickly with as few tears as possible. Here's how. First, we'll help you create an airtight, leak-proof plan that addresses your child's sleep problems. Next, we'll give you lots of support as you help your child learn, so you'll stay consistent and motivated and see results in only a few nights.
In this DVD, we'll meet several sets of parents who are struggling with their child's sleep problems. As we help them, we'll also show you how to help your child sleep better. By the end of this DVD, you will have all the essential tools to give your child and your family what you all need so desperately: a good night's sleep. For your convenience, we've organized this DVD into several chapters. Feel free to review the sections as many times as you need to and to show them to your partner or caregiver.
Before we begin, let's talk for a moment about why sleep is so important.
A child who isn't sleeping well is not getting what we call good sleep nutrition. You may notice that your child is often cranky or fussy, has dark circles under his eyes, yawns a lot, or seems zoned out.
A well-rested child, on the other hand, one getting good sleep nutrition, is a thriving child. She'll wake up happy to greet the day, manage her mood and emotions well, and enjoy good physical coordination.
We probably don't need to tell you that sleep deprivation is also extremely hard on parents. If you're constantly exhausted, you'll have a really tough time being a loving, patient parent or connecting with your spouse. Allowing yourself or your marriage to get worn down puts your entire family in jeopardy, so it's really important to protect everyone from sleep deprivation.
We found that there are 6 main reasons little ones have trouble sleeping. We call these the sleep stealers. Sleep stealer number 1, no consistent bedtime routine. Children who don't have a chance to wind their bodies down at the end of a busy day will have a much harder time falling asleep quickly. Everybody needs some time to relax before bed.
Sleep Stealer 2, Sleep Associations. If your child needs your help to sleep at night, then he has what are called sleep associations, or conditions that he associates with falling asleep. Typical sleep associations include sucking on a breast, bottle, or pacifier, bouncing, walking, or rocking, lying down in bed with your child.
So it's okay to allow Owen to get very relaxed and sleepy on the breast, but we don't actually want him to fall all the way asleep because that's the way he's used to falling asleep, and we're trying to help him break that sleep association.
Not all sleep associations are bad. What's important is that your child can create them on his own. So if he can find and reinsert his pacifier or suck his thumb on his own, then he's okay.
Sleep Stealer 3, Poor Sleep Environment. Your child needs to be protected from loud noise, too much light, and other disruptions that can prevent him from sleeping well.
Sleep Stealer number 4, mistimed schedule. Children who don't sleep enough or at the right times for their age often become overtired. Then their bodies produce a stress hormone called cortisol, which causes them to act hyper or wired. Cortisol can affect your child's sleep in 3 possible ways. 1, she'll have a harder time settling into sleep. 2, she'll wake up more throughout the night. And 3, she'll wake up too early in the morning.
Sleep Stealer 5, Eating at Night. By the time a baby is 5 months old and weighs 15 pounds, he should be able to sleep from bedtime till morning wake-up time without a feeding. But be sure to check with your doctor to talk about your particular baby's needs.
Sleep Stealer number 6, toddlers who test limits. It's normal for a toddler over 10 months old to resist bedtime and to test you by seeing if he can stay up later and continue playing. It can be tempting to give in to your adorable toddler, but delaying bedtime isn't good for him. He needs his sleep nutrition. Or for you, you need some downtime after a long day and some time with your spouse. So now we've explained the main reasons babies and toddlers can't get to sleep. Let's talk about some solutions or ways to fix these problems. We call these our SleepEasy Solutions. SleepEasy Solution number 1, use a consistent bedtime routine. A predictable wind-down routine, anywhere from 15 to 60 minutes long, depending on your child's age, is one of the most important tools your child needs to sleep well. You can allow him to have his runaround time before you start the nightly routine, but be sure to make your activities very calming once the wind-down begins. Bedtime activities often include a bath, a massage, dimming the lights, playing soft music, nursing a bottle or a cup of milk, or books or songs. With an older child, you can talk about your day together.
You saw Bubby and Zadie and Grandma and Auntie Karen, and we played with everyone.
When doing your routine, be sure to do the routine in the same room where your child sleeps to help him feel relaxed there and familiar with his sleep environment. Do the same things each night in the same order to help your child fall into a rhythm. This way he learns, I drink my milk, then we read a story, then I fall asleep.
SleepEasy Solution number 2, remove sleep associations that keep your child reliant on your help.
As you help your child learn how to sleep, you'll need to give him a little bit of space and a little bit of time to learn how to soothe himself to sleep rather than continuing to need your help throughout the night.
The reason we're backing off right now is not to be mean, it's just to give him some space and a little bit of time to figure this out. He has put his hand in and out of his mouth, and he's going to be able to figure out how to do this.
Children who are given a chance to learn how to relax themselves into sleep may begin to use a variety of new skills to replace their old sleep habits, including sucking on a thumb or hand, gently moving his head from side to side, kicking his legs or waving his arms, and nuzzling a small, lovey or stuffed animal.
What we're going for is that he goes in his crib and learns that between sucking his thumb or his fingers or his fist and having that blankie that's often there when he nurses, he'll be able to do the same thing that you're doing right now.
SleepEasy Solution number 3, protect the sleep environment. Whatever is in or around your child's crib that doesn't directly help her sleep or is a potential safety hazard should come out. This includes mobiles, aquariums, or toys which are too stimulating, bumpers after your child begins to pull up to standing and can potentially climb out of his crib, large blankets or pillows which are dangerous for babies under 12 months and difficult for toddlers or preschoolers to rearrange during the night. The only other change we want to make in Jacob's crib is this very fun little activity center that he has is just the perfect height for him to kind of pop up and play with in the middle of the night. So we should go ahead and take that out of there. To help him nap well and prevent early morning wakings, make your child's room dark. On a scale of 10, if 10 is dark, make it an 8 or 9. Temporarily tack up a blanket or black plastic garbage bags. Later, you can invest in a more permanent solution.
Yeah, we have a drop-down shade.
Right?
It's just a blackout shade.
It's a blackout shade. Okay, that's really helpful.
Protect your child from distracting sounds, such as a ringing phone or barking dog, with a fan or air purifier, or purchase a white noise machine with volume control.
So we're going to use a fan.
Okay.
Go ahead. And we want it to be pretty loud. That's loud.
It is loud.
Yeah.
For safety and comfort, dress your child in a footed, zip-up blanket sleeper. You can layer a onesie or thin PJs underneath if your child's room is especially chilly. Dress him so that he does not need a blanket and is still comfortable, depending on the temperature of your home.
He doesn't need the pants because it's pretty warm in here right now.
I see what you're saying.
So
Just
I'm
put this
thinking,
on?
yeah, you just put that on, and then he could wear his t-shirt if you feel like it's going to get chilly. Okay, so we're putting on a warm blanket sleeper that she can sleep in so that we don't need to put a blanket on top of her.
Right.
SleepEasy Solution number 4, make a proper sleep schedule. Bedtime and wake-up time. Most young children do best with a bedtime between 7 and 8 p.m. 8:30 is the latest we recommend all the way up to age 8. Your target bedtime is when you put your child in his crib, saying goodnight and leaving the room. When planning your child's target wake-up time, count forward 11 hours from the bedtime you've chosen. SleepEasy Solution number 5, prepare to wean your nighttime feeds.
One part of the sleep process we found parents struggle with is weaning, or stopping nighttime feedings. You can't just stop feeding your baby at night suddenly. Instead, it takes a gradual process to decrease the amount of milk in each feed until the baby stops eating at night altogether. Please watch the bonus section of this DVD entitled Weaning if you need the SleepEasy solution.
SleepEasy Solution number 6, set healthy limits for your toddler. With a toddler or young child, it's more important than ever to have a predictable bedtime routine. Even though kids sometimes resist rules around bedtime, these limits help children feel loved and secure. If your child is now talking and understanding what you say, you can help him get ready to make changes around sleep by creating a simple stick figure book for him that explains what will happen. Tell the story of how your child has been having a tough time with sleep, but because you love him, you're going to help him learn how to get the rest he needs.
Ask your child to help color in the drawings you made. Begin reading the book the day you're planning to start your new sleep routine. Then you can continue to read it with her each night before bed.
Giving your toddler a special mommy cow or daddy bear can also help to comfort her as she makes changes in her sleep.
When she's laying with you, cuddle doggy too. And that way, you've got doggy who's going to go into bed with her, and you've got mommy, and you make this association between this wonderful cozy time and little doggy. At bedtime on the first night you begin, you can say, Mommy's going to sleep in Mommy's bed, but Mommy Bear will be with you all night to give you hugs and cuddles.
endless circuit of providence, of consequence in time, retelling each eternal whisper beyond the night, beyond the light sublime. Generations spiral in a world caught between sight and sound, spanning the ages with breakneck speed and a love that's so profound. And this is the wheel of life going round, spinning round, spinning round.
So here we go. Let's now walk through each of the steps.
Step-by-step sleep for nights. We always advise starting to work on sleep at night rather than starting with naps, because young children usually learn how to sleep at night more easily than they do during the day. You'll begin working on naps the morning after your first night.
Step 1, create your station. This is our station that we've set up to help Brooks as he's learning to sleep tonight. And it's really important to have your station all set up before we actually begin the sleep learning process. Somewhere near your child's room, set up your station with the following items: a digital clock, a pen, your notes from this DVD, some blank paper or your sleep chart, and your baby monitor if you use one.
This station is really important for helping you follow your plan correctly. If you forget what you're supposed to be doing in the middle of the night and you give your baby mixed messages, he will sleep less and cry a lot more.
You might want to transfer your station to your bedroom if your baby's waking during the night, so that you can easily record your information as you get out of bed.
Step 2, start your bedtime routine. Do your bedtime routine in the room where your child will be sleeping. Remember to do the same activities each night in the same order. While you are helping your child wind down, explain to her the changes you'll be making with her sleep. If she's not verbal yet, she may not understand every word you're saying, but it's respectful to communicate to your child what will be different.
And then we're going to put you in your bed, and you're going to fall asleep in your bed all by yourself. It's going to be different, but it's going to be just fine.
If you have a child who's talking, this is when you'll want to read the special sleep book you made together.
If you call out after we put you to bed, Mommy and Daddy will check on you.
Empathy can go a long way in helping a child to feel better understood. Before you start your routine, you can also show your child where you sleep and tell him, kids sleep in their cribs and mommies and daddies sleep in their own beds. Remind him to hold his lovey or special mommy bear, which will be with him throughout the night to hug.
The most important thing to remember about your routine, whether at bedtime or nap time, is to make sure your child does not fall asleep under the same old conditions he's used to, such as while rocking or feeding, even for a few moments.
She definitely looks like she'd like to fall asleep nursing right now. Katie, Katie, Katie. There you go.
If he sleeps even briefly, he may have a tougher time settling down to sleep once we put him down awake because he's taken the edge off of his sleep. Step 3, put your child in the crib awake. After you've done the last bit of your bedtime routine with your child still awake, put her into the crib at your designated bedtime.
I know you can do it. I know you're tired. This is good for you. Mommy loves you. Daddy loves you. Let's go night-night.
Remember, it is absolutely critical that your child go to bed awake, as this will allow him to practice falling asleep, will prevent his wake-ups in the middle of the night, and will help him understand that you have set new rules around bedtime.
Step 4. Here comes the hard part.
dealing with your own emotions.
Because he was giving me the death stare.
He was.
You evil, evil one. All I want is for you to pick me up.
And I can't call my mom now because she'll be like, just pick her up and like rock her. She's such a baby.
I just feel like he's like doesn't understand like what I was afraid of because I lifted, you know, I always took him in.
You're doing such a good job. He's doing so good so far. He's actually kind of pausing a little bit in between. He can do this, Melanie. Just gotta give him a chance.
He won't let her cry. And to get her in a crib, there's going to be a little bit of crying.
And I tried to do it alone while Tanya was out of town, and the baby cried and wouldn't go back to sleep, so we brought her back into the bed.
You've just put your child down awake and she's crying. Every bone in your body is telling you to just pick her up and soothe her. But remember, this is what you've already been doing for weeks or months, and it hasn't been helping her to sleep better. Taking this step back at times is one of the hardest things about parenting. It's never comfortable to watch your child struggle. But as she grows, she's undoubtedly going to struggle at times. When she learns to walk, tie her shoe, ride a bike, do math homework. And though it'll break your heart each time you see her frustration, hopefully you'll allow her to struggle just temporarily for a few minutes at a time to help her find the motivation to solve the problem herself. If your verbal toddler is crying and calling out for you, it can feel especially difficult.
She's angry because you're changing the rules, and she's testing you because she thinks she can change your minds. This is similar to her wanting sweets before dinner and you telling her she can't have them. Just like you wouldn't feed her junk food, you don't want to give her junky sleep nutrition either. No one enjoys hearing their child cry, but there is no evidence that small amounts of crying for a few minutes at a time is harmful to a child who is old enough to learn how to sleep. What we hear instead is the opposite, that once children learn how to sleep, they're happy, they're alert, and they thrive. Step 5, record the date and time you put your child to sleep. Go to your station and use your paper or sleep chart to write down the date and time that you've put your child to bed. If you would like to download a complimentary sleep chart from our website, please go to www.sleepyplanet.com.
As you wait, try to relax and send your child love and calming thoughts. Even if she can't hear or see you right this second, you can still communicate with her, whether out loud or in your heart.
Step 6, check in at 5 minutes. Go close enough that your child can see and hear you, but not close enough that you could touch her or that she could touch you. It is very important not to touch your child as he cries. Although giving him a hug might feel good in the moment, doing so will actually make him cry much harder than he otherwise would. Also, don't linger longer than 30 seconds, as doing so will feel like a tease to him because he'll think you're going to pick him up. Using a calm, confident voice, tell him you're there, then leave. Step 7, record your check-in time. Leave the room again and go to your station. Record your check-in time and then wait 10 minutes from that time. And we'll write down 7:35 for our first check-in. Perfect. Now, each time we do a check-in, we'll write that down on our sleep chart. Step 8, check in at 10 minutes and every 15 minutes. Wait 10 minutes to check in again, and then every 15 minutes until your child puts himself to sleep. 15 minutes is the longest time we recommend you being out of the room. Make sure to record each check-in on your sleep log. If your child is whining or complaining and not crying, or if his cries are intermittent with lots of pauses, try not to go in, even if it's time for a check-in. These are indications that he is working on soothing himself to sleep, and seeing you at this critical moment in his progress will probably make him cry harder. If he does start to cry hard again, begin your checks again, repeating the last interval you used. Some children may cry as little as 10 minutes. Others may cry a bit longer as you continue to check in, offering your love and support.
See you in the morning. Good night, Owie.
Please know that the first night of sleep learning is almost always the hardest. Your child is faced with a brand new situation and he's just beginning to figure out how to put himself to sleep. But if you can stay consistent for the whole night, by morning you'll have taken a giant leap toward getting great sleep each and every night. If you can stay consistent for a second night, you'll be most of the way there. As you continue to stick with your new plan on successive nights, your child will be well on his way toward getting healthy sleep in no time. If instead you pick him up while he's trying to learn, you'll be undoing all of his hard work. That's not fair to him, so hang in there. Step 9. Sound asleep. Once your child falls asleep, record the total amount of time he took to do this. You've made a significant amount of progress already because your child has begun to learn his new skill. Now he just needs to perfect it. How to handle night wakings. You're in bed asleep. Uh-oh, someone's awake. Basically, you will handle night wakings using the same steps you did when putting your child to sleep at bedtime. At your station, you'll record what time your child woke up. If he is still crying after 5 minutes, do a check-in just like at bedtime. Go back to your station and record what time you checked in. Then wait the 10 and 15-minute intervals between the next check-ins until your child falls back to sleep. Record the total time it took him to get back to sleep. Do these steps each time your child wakes during the night.
Each time your child awakens during the night, respond in exactly the same way at 5, 10, and 15-minute intervals. Don't touch your child and stay 30 seconds or less. Record each check-in as well as the total amount of time it took for your child to go to sleep each time he wakes. Here's an example of how you might make your entries into your sleep log during the night. Note that we recommend recording the exact time your child wakes up, each time you check in, and the time he falls back to sleep. Good morning! If your child has been up and calling for you and the clock reaches your designated wake-up time, go into your child's room, open the blinds, or turn on the light and say, "You did it! You stayed in your crib the whole night until the sun was nice and bright. We're so proud of you." Cuddle and hug him, and if he still drinks milk in the morning, give him a nice full feeding if he's ready. Whatever you do, don't allow your child to fall back to sleep in your arms, or in your bed, or in his crib. He spent the night practicing how to sleep on his own, and you don't want to undo your hard work.
You'll find that one of the most difficult times for your child to put himself back to sleep is in the early morning, particularly if he's been used to feeding or coming into bed with you at that hour. It's important to remain consistent by not getting your child out of bed until the designated wake-up time, and this can take up to a week, sometimes even a bit longer. Your white noise and dark room will now go a long way toward protecting morning sleep. For toddlers who are talking, you can run to the phone and call Grandma, telling her how proud you are of your child for a job well done.
Hi, Grandma Mimi. Guess what?
Yeah.
What are you telling Grandma Mimi?
Night-night.
Yeah, night-night. Mia slept all night long.
Oh, that is really great.
Do you want to tell Grandma Mimi I did it? Say,
I did it.
Yay!
After you've made it through your first night, you're well on your way toward getting great sleep. Hang in there. Night 2 can still feel a bit bumpy as your child continues to learn and adjust to all the changes. If you can manage to stay rock solid consistent for the first few nights though, you should see significant improvement by day 3 or 4. Often, night sleep problems are completely resolved at this point. The only time you'll be waking up is to feed your child if you're continuing to wean. Remember, naps can take a bit longer, sometimes up to a week, or in some rare cases, even 2 weeks to fine-tune completely.
Let's review our step-by-step sleep solutions with some of our families to see how our techniques work when they gave it a try. We met with the Prager family, whose son Matthew needed to learn how to soothe himself to sleep. He was having a really hard time falling asleep at bedtime and staying asleep throughout the night. My plan for the Pragers involved a sleep schedule of 7:30 p.m. to 6:30 a.m.
I'm gonna have you stand right over the crib, look at him really calmly, and say, "You can do it, I believe in you," sending really positive energy, and then leaving the room again. 5 minutes, 10 minutes, and then every 15 minutes until he falls asleep. In a separate place, we're gonna have a station where we write down night number 1, put Matthew down at 7:30.
Here's the Prager's bedtime routine. About a half hour before they planned on putting Matthew into the crib, they gave him a bath, then dressed him in his PJs, then fed him a full bottle, then right before Melanie put him into the crib awake, she sang him a minute or 2 of Twinkle Twinkle. We put his white noise on, gave him his lovey, and told him good night. And as you can see on night 1, it was a bit of a struggle for Matthew.
He's been crying, it's now 7:38. He's been crying for 2 minutes, okay? Because he stopped for a little while when we first put him down, and now he started again. We're gonna give him for 5 minutes until 7:41, okay? At 7:41, we're gonna go and check on him. But right now, he's going, "I don't know how to put myself to sleep." He's gonna figure this out.
After exactly 5 minutes, Melanie was ready to check in. When you check in, remember, go near the crib, but not close enough to touch the baby. And in under 30 seconds, in your most positive voice, tell him he's doing a great job. You love him, and you'll see him soon. And then leave the room.
Come on out. Good job, good job, good job, good job. Okay, you came out 1 minute later, so you came out, if we checked in at 7:41, then you came out at 7:42, okay? So we're gonna go now 10 minutes.
The tone you need to create for the baby is, everything's okay, you can do this, I love you. Remember, the longer you're in there, the more you distract the baby from learning to soothe himself.
He's really, really frustrated right now, Josh, but he has put his hand in and out of his mouth, and he's going to be able to figure out how to do this.
You're determined, little one.
It's 8:14 right now.
Oh, look at that.
It's 38 minutes that it took him from when we put him down to when he fell asleep.
The next day, Melanie was thrilled. Matthew had slept through the night for the very first time. Here's what she had to say.
The crib, and I'm like, "Matthew, it's time to wake up. Matthew, wake up." And this child with his eyes closed got the hugest smile, and he stayed like that. And I'm like, "Oh my God!" I mean, it was like the kid had just had some incredible.
On night 2, we looked to build on our success from night 1. We repeated the bedtime routine of a bath, getting dressed with a little rub down, and Matthew also held his blankie, which had his mom's scent on it. It seemed to calm him. He then took a bottle. Yay! We dimmed the lights and sang him his little song.
I love you, Matthew. Good night, Bubble.
Let's see how Matthew does on night 2.
I will love you.
I'm not going to do a great job tonight, but just let you go last night. I love you, Maddie. I love you. Good night, big girl.
I'm right here, Bubble. I'm right here, Maddie. You can do it, my angel. You can do it,
What's interesting about night 2 is how much more relaxed Melanie feels about this process. Having seen Matthew struggle a bit on night 1 but ultimately put himself to sleep, Melanie feels that he has begun to learn new skills, and with a little more practice, that he can do it again. Night-night. He's so close so many times along the way where he's just, And it's 33 minutes. So he did a little bit better. It was 38 minutes the first night. By the end of the 3rd night, little Matthew was on his way. He had developed the skills to soothe himself to sleep, and from then on, he was able to use these skills to go to sleep very easily. Let's now visit the Duncans. Baby Kate was 7 months old when we visited. Her older brother Ryan had been through our sleep learning process as a baby, and his parents were firm believers in our SleepEasy solutions. Part of the problem with Kate's sleep, however, was that for one, her father Chris was in the military and was serving in the Iraqi conflict and would be absent for long periods of time. That put a lot of stress on the entire family. Also, Kate's grandmother would rock Kate to sleep at times, which understandably interfered with Kate's ability to learn how to soothe herself to sleep. These inconsistencies made it very hard for Mom, Lauren, to get Kate to sleep at night and to nap well. She needed a bit of a refresher course in our SleepEasy solutions. Kate had several sleep associations. For example, she often dozed off as she was nursing during the day, and we'd have to watch out for that, especially if she fed when she was extremely tired. It was important that Kate now learn how to put herself to sleep each and every time she napped or went to bed at night. When night came, we began Kate's bedtime routine. Because she had a really tough time napping that day and was short on sleep, we moved her bedtime up a little earlier. We put her in her blanket sleeper, Lauren put her into her crib awake, and Kate put up a fight.
Mom loves you, Daddy loves you, Ryan loves you. We're gonna say night-night.
Good night, sweetheart. Do a good job going to sleep, honey.
All right.
You can do it.
That's a good girl.
At her station, Lauren made notes of the time Kate went into the crib and then what times her 5, 10, and 15-minute check-ins would be. It took Kate a little while, but then she started figuring out how to put herself to sleep. She knew her mommy was nearby outside the door, but she also knew that no one else could put her to sleep. She had to learn to do it herself. And with her mom's encouragement, she did. Kate's sleep that night was the best she had had in 7 months. It wasn't easy for Lauren. She never imagined that she'd have to let little Kate work so hard and feel so frustrated. Many parents feel this way, but we've never seen any evidence that a little bit of frustration while learning to self-soothe is damaging to a child. In fact, here's what Lauren had to say about Kate's sleep and mood in the days after we visited.
It's like night and day. She used to be frantic and just screaming and active and everywhere. But now she's focused, she's crawling, she can stand by herself. The way that you make things so simple for a parent who is sleep deprived and wimpy and cryy and emotional, it's just simple. It's like, do this and it works.
Meet the Silversteins, Craig and Lori. Their toddler, Jacob, has been having problems sleeping through the night in his own crib. Whenever he wakes, his mom and dad, exhausted and desperate, bring Jacob into bed with them. Over time, Jacob has learned that when he cries in the night, Mom and Dad will come to get him, and he'll get to snuggle in bed with them. So we came up with a plan to make Jacob feel more comfortable in his own crib, and to help Craig and Lori keep their resolve in the middle of the night.
When we try to put him in the crib, and then
he'll start screaming.
Start screaming.
He'll pop right up. Mom's
Yes.
right up to the crib.
Yes, he will pop right up, for sure. And And hopefully he's gonna, when I come in there after 5 minutes, I have this feeling he's gonna think that I'm gonna take a nap. And then I'm gonna feel really bad, but I'm not gonna take a nap.
The plan starts with a calm, consistent wind-down routine.
Who's Zach? That's not Zach.
After the bath, Mom dries Jacob off. Then they head to Jacob's room, where they put on PJs and then read stories, including the special sleep book Mom and Dad made for Jacob about the new changes in his sleep routine. Next, he brushes his teeth, and Lori puts on some white noise to make sure he won't wake up if Yogi, the family dog, should bark. Then, Lori turns out the lights and puts Jacob into his crib awake.
Okay. Night.
Let's take a look through our hidden camera to see how he responds to the new changes. Jacob is understandably feeling frustrated. In the past, he'd cry, and Mom and Dad would come in immediately and take him into their bed. After Jacob has been crying for 5 minutes, Lori goes into his room for a check-in. She stays just long enough to give him some support and reassurance.
You're doing great. I love you, and I'm gonna see you in the morning when the sun is bright in the sky. Okay? I love you, sweetie. Okay? You're doing very good. Okay? I love you. I just feel like he's like doesn't understand like what I was afraid of because I lifted. You know, I always took him in.
Because he's used to you coming in and scooping him up. And so you're right, this is really different. This is totally different from what he's used to. What we'll do is write down the date and exactly what time you put him down, and then we'll write down the timing of your first check, which was 7:35. Perfect. After Lori's check-in, Jacob starts to calm down. But then his crying begins to escalate again. So Craig does the second check-in.
You're doing really good. You know, grab your mom a coffee if you need it. She's right there. Help you go to sleep. We're really proud of you. You're doing good. You're going to go to sleep, and we'll see you in the morning.
Jacob cries off and on for a while. This is typical for the first night, as children protest new changes but also begin to learn how to self-soothe. As a toddler, Jacob is also testing his parents. He wants to see if he can get them to go back to the old ways of doing things. Finally, Jacob puts himself to sleep. It may have been a long night for him, but he's had lots of good practice at learning new skills. Jacob made great progress over the first couple of nights. On night 2, he took about a half hour to fall asleep. On the third night, he fell asleep even more quickly. Let's take a look at night 4 and see how Jacob is doing. He and Mom both look a lot more rested. He begins his bedtime routine, which Craig and Lori have been careful to keep consistent each night. He takes a bath, changes into his PJs, reads books, brushes his teeth, and then goes into his crib awake. Let's check the hidden camera to see what Jacob has learned. On the first 3 nights, he would jump up immediately in protest, hoping that his parents would bring him into their room if he persisted long enough. But on night 4, Jacob doesn't stand up at all. He raises his head for a moment, as if thinking about what to do next. Then, he puts himself to sleep. After just a few nights, Jacob has become a pro at self-soothing, which means he not only goes to sleep quickly, but stays asleep throughout the night. So what would you say to another parent who may be feeling like they know they need to make changes with their child's sleep, but they're scared to start this process?
I would definitely think it's like a great thing to do. I mean, you don't want to let them cry, but it's almost like you have to do it. That's the only way they're going to learn.
A week ago at this time, it was a totally different picture putting Jacob down to sleep.
Yes, it was like a nightmare.
What did it look like?
You know, between the fact that he wouldn't go down at all, I was sick and tired, but it's over, you know. I'm really glad that he's doing so well, and I'm really proud of him.
Now that we've seen some families put our techniques to use, let's hear from some other parents about how the SleepEasy techniques have changed their lives.
And part of the reason why I was having a difficult time was because, you know, I was really sleep deprived. Yeah. And I felt broken. Like, I felt that, is it ever going to change for me? I think that was actually, with your process, it was something that really helped me through it all. You want the structure and you want to have the freedom, frankly, to feel good in the morning when you wake up because you've had a restful night.
And it actually turned out to be really simple. And that's what I liked about it the most. It was effective and easy to kind of adopt.
It is the day after night 4 for you guys. And what happened?
He actually went down last night. It took like 20 minutes, but but he slept through the entire night, which was his first because I didn't have to wake him up. He was already weaned, and we were thrilled. We woke up this morning and you were still sleeping.
In 5 nights, he went from waking up 3-4 times a night to sleeping through the night. And if you'd told me that we could do that in 5 nights, I would have said, you're crazy.
Right.
If you say the end justifies the means, we're there, and it really wasn't too bad at all.
When we went in there and said, you did it, you slept, she just seemed proud of herself.
I tell everyone, I'm like, try it. I promise you it works.
You're giving your baby a gift, you're giving yourselves a gift, you're giving your whole family a gift.
It just will make your lives so much easier, and it's worth trying and not being afraid to try it.
I actually, if I can go back very quickly and say, I know if I'd gotten more sleep, I would have won more tennis matches, funny enough.
So I'm still a big softie, but boy, 3 days of it, and she was sleeping through the night.
Although we won't be physically standing in your bedroom holding your hand while your child learns to sleep, we want you to know that we really will be with you in spirit. We like to think that all the babies, toddlers, children, and families who have come before you and navigated their way to getting great sleep will be with you in spirit too. And if they could do it, so can you.
We applaud your hard work and your commitment to helping your child get the rest she needs to be healthy and to thrive. As we so often say, the thousands of well-rested families that we've helped get great sleep can't be wrong, and soon you'll be joining those ranks too.
For more great tips, tools, and products to help your child sleep, including our book and audio CD series, please visit www.sleepyplanet.com.
My name is Emma Spivak, and when I sleep good, I feel great.
Hi, my name is Jake Spivak, and when I was 8 months old, I didn't know how to sleep, but now I'm a great sleeper.